Good morning from Estadio Alfredo Harp Helu. It is a beautiful Saturday morning. It's the final two games of the round-robin matchup. We start with game number 9 between the Kane County Cougars and Los Dantos de Managua. Trevor Curl up here in the broadcast booth alongside with Colin Russell. And Colin, the week is almost done, but these are the two most important games coming into Saturday. Championship Sunday is right around the corner, but for Kane County, it's pretty easy. Win, you get in. For Dantos, a little bit different. It's a win, but then you also need to have a little bit of help from Diablos, who play later on tonight against the Crocodiles.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting things that can happen if Dantos is able to win this game, but they're running into a team that has just been running through the competition so far. Look what they did to the Diablos, the Brothers, and the Crocodiles. However, this Dantos team has been playing really strong baseball since floundering a little bit versus that Diablos team. They bounced back huge against Cuba, and now a big opportunity for them to get themselves back in this tournament.
Yeah, their starting pitching and their relief pitching has been a bright spot. Their offense also has some pretty good firepower, especially at that top to middle of the lineup card. But from Kane County's perspective, Elvis Peralta has been just a huge lift at the top of your order. He's playing third base today. It'll be the third position he's played. But then you've also had the power that Todd Lott has brought to the lineup card. Max Murphy has continued to play like the legend he is in the American Association. Josh Allen back in the lineup card. And Jake Dykoff gets the ball for George Samus this afternoon. And for Jake Dykoff, things didn't go so well against Diablos, but here he is getting a start today.
Yeah, and I think that's a one-off for Dykoff. I mean, we've seen what he's done in the American Association. He was one of the most dominating pitchers and literally the most dominating last season. I think it's a nice move by George Samus to put him in here, try to get the win and secure your spot. On the other side, Dilmer Mejia, I mean, this is a guy that has played on the international level for Nicaragua, both World Baseball Classics for him, and he's been in a major league organization as well with the Braves. So he is no stranger to this big game stage, and it's going to be a nice matchup this morning.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. It's like we mentioned at the top. It was Kane County, you win, you're in. Dantos, they need some help with a win of their own. So you see how the things are going to shape up. Again, it won't matter until we see the end of the game later on tonight, between the Crocodiles and the Diablos.
Yeah, I think bullpen's going to play huge on both sides. One last look at the standings here to see what has to happen. Could be a very interesting game for this nightcap as well.
Yeah, Kane County being 3-0, the only team who has gone perfect so far, and they have a chance to continue to roll here in game number 9. It's the Kane County Cougars hosting Dantos de Managua right now on AA Baseball TV. First pitch from Estadio Alfredo Harp Helu, Jake Dykoff facing up against Bismarck Rivera. And the first pitch on the way is taken for ball one inside, and we are underway at 10:05. About 55 degrees here at first pitch. A little bit on the cooler side here in this morning's action. Bright sunshine, though, overhead of Mexico City. 1-0 is swung on and blasted the other way. Murphy going back near the warning track, has room in front of the wall, makes the catch. Allowed out number one. Bismarck Rivera lining out. Well, here's Jake Dykoff, a postseason all-star in the American Association for the Fargo-Moorhead Redhawks. Only qualified Redhawk with an ERA under 2 since the Redhawks joined the American Association in 2011. In his season, he was the top arm across the league on the starting side. 11-4 with a league-best 1.63 ERA. Absolutely dominant. 27 games, only 10 of those were starts. He started the season off as a reliever and then came in the middle of the season as a starter. Things just took off from there. 93 and 2/3 innings of work, 81 strikeouts, just 12 walks, and 4 home runs allowed. And stepping in is Brandon Layton. He takes for ball one. Layton's had a pretty good start to the tournament so far. 10 for his last 15. A .667 batting average, along with 3 doubles, a home run, and 5 runs batted in. Dykoff, 1 game under his belt here in BCL play. That was against the Diablos on our opener on Tuesday. The defense for the Cougars, left to right in the outfield, Dylan Thomas, Armand Upshaw, Max Murphy patrolling right field, and then across the horn of the infield, Elvis Peralta at third base, Sam Dexter at short, Josh Allen at second, Josh Raywald at first, and Jack Scrotians the back end of the battery for Dykoff. Was ahead of Layton at 1-2. Here it comes home. Spoiled foul, and we'll try it again.
Brandon Layton has been that consistent force in this Dantos lineup. He's been batting out of that 2 spot pretty much the entire tournament, and just constant production.
A ball and 2 strikes from Dykoff to Layton. And here she comes home. Ground ball through the left side, a base hit, and Brandon Layton continues where he leaves off over the last couple of ball games. They'll set up Benjamin Algaria with a man on with 1 away. Your umpires for this morning's action: David Soley is behind home plate, has balls and strikes. Keith McConkey at first base, Edwin Hernandez at second, and Janet Moreno, she is at third.
So 5th time Brandon Layton has reached first base in a row, dating back to his last game against the Crocodiles.
King County in their home whites with the navy blue caps. Dantos in the cherry red uniforms with blue socks pulled up high. Fastball taken outside for ball one. In 2025 and 2026 Mexican Pacific Winter League for Dykoff. Playing under his own manager in the regular season and also in the winter with Los Mochis. 4 games, 13 innings of work, got a 6.92 ERA, 6 strikeouts, 7 walks. Getting some work in on the winter circuit.
We'll see what kind of outing the Cougars and George Samus are hoping from Jake Dykoff, with more than likely the scenario for the Cougars going to this championship game tomorrow. Dykoff's an option as an arm potentially.
2-0. Ground ball to second past the diving Josh Allen to right field. Holding up at second is Layton. First and second are Dantos here in the top of inning number 1.
And as you might expect, this has been the strong point for this Dantos lineup, right directly in the middle. Alegria holding down that 3 spot. It was a great shot just past the glove of Josh Allen, and early trouble now for Dykoff.
I'll set up Emmanuel Trujillo. 7 runs batted in so far on the tournament, 5 for his last 14. Dykoff in a little bit of trouble early on, has runners at first and second, just still 1 away. No score as we begin action here on Saturday morning. First pitch lays in a strike. So for Kane County, it's been not so much smooth sailing, but they've definitely found their groove early on. A bit of a battle against Diablos. Another bit of a battle against the Brothers where they were trailing early and then just steamrolled back. And then against the Crocodiles yesterday, the second ever shutout in Baseball Champions League history. High fly ball to right field. Murphy steps in, has to go back a few steps. Tagging from second lane, he'll take off. The throw goes into Josh Allen. Up to third will go Layton, 2 away runners at the corners.
It just feels like they really haven't had to face a ton of adversity. I mean, the Brothers did score 5 runs in the top of the first against them, but they answered quickly with a 10-run bottom of the first and just ran away with the game after that.
And then yesterday it was the big inning. A 7-spot in the top half of the 4th inning, and it was on cruise control from then on out. But because of the Cougars being the lone team at 3-0, their path to Sunday is the easiest out of all the teams here in BCL play. First pitch, a called strike on William Rayo. For Dantos, it's a little bit more complicated. It starts with a win here, but it also has to be a big win. It cannot be just a couple of runs scratched across. They've got to really run up the scoreboard. And they got to get some help on the nightcap game. The 0-1, a swing and a miss. Good fan on the outside from Dykhoff, and now he's quickly got Rayo at 0-2.
Yeah, and on the flip side, it's pretty much decided. If the Cougars can win this game here, the first tiebreaker, the head-to-head, would be Dantos Diablos. If Diablos lose tonight, both would be at 2-2. Diablos would advance.
Well, that's what going 3-0 into Saturday does for you, and especially with pretty much everyone else battling for that second and third place spots right now. We showed the standings earlier, but currently there are 2 teams tied at 2-1. Diablos, because of the head-to-head, technically slide in ahead of Dantos. But there is a possibility that we see a couple of 2-2 teams, and then that's when the math starts to become a factor.
Yeah. It could get messy quick. I mean, if the Crocodiles pull off the upset tonight and Dantos win here, I mean, now we're talking about, where I say lose here, 3 2-2 teams.
The 2-2. Swung on and fouled off third base side. But that's the luxury for Kane County right here, is you quite literally control your own destiny, and the offense has played so well here in the early goings. And, of course, the pitching side yesterday was absolutely fantastic, starting things off with Brendan Comar, Denny Lorando, and then Derek Cherry, all firing shutout frames. 2-2, breaking for second, Algria. Pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. Jake Dykhoff with a K to end the top of the first. We go to the bottom half. The Cougars get a chance to swing it. Josh Raywald will lead off for the Kane County Cougars in the bottom of the second. Still no score. First pitch from Dilmar Mejia. It's taken for ball 1. A 3-hit tournament so far for Raywald. 3 for his last 9, including a double and 3 runs batted in. Takes a called strike to even things up. And he is one of the more powerful swingers in the American Association, but his power has not really been on display yet so far here in the round robin play. The 1-1. Line drive down the third base line, a fair ball through the shifted infield. Raywald will push for second. Up with the ball, Mendoza. Long throw in. Raywald's going to slide in safely. A leadoff double to begin the bottom of the second, just like the Cougars did in the bottom of the first.
Well, the Dantos had Raywald shifted heavy to the right side. The lone man on the left side was Ruiz, and that was a hard-hit ground ball down that third base side. No chance, and good hustle by Raywald to get himself to second. See if the Cougars can take advantage of a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
So here's Max Murphy, batting an even .500 so far through the tournament, including a double and 2 home runs. First pitch, he goes after it and fouls it back. 6 runs batted in for Murphy, tied with Josh Allen for the team lead in the tournament. And it has been Murphy in this big spot that has really done some damage. Again, playing off as that quote-unquote second leadoff for the back half of the lineup card. But he has not been a leadoff type of bat, including those home runs. He has been someone who has spark-plugged this lineup card, and he has gotten his fair share of singles, of course, but when he has put a thump on the baseball, he has done damage at almost every turn. Raywald with the leadoff double aboard at second, still looking for the game's first run. 1-1. Up and inside for ball 2. A scorching hot start to the season for Murphy. A .333 average with 4 home runs in May. 17 runs batted in. 2-1. Downstairs for ball 3. Armand Upshaw awaits on deck. June and July wasn't nearly as hot of a bat. In June, however, he still had an OPS of an .803. 3 doubles, a triple, 15 runs batted in, 4 home runs. And that's usually what Murphy has done over the last few years. And you see month to month, he usually gets about 4 to 3 home runs. Big swing on 3-1 comes up empty to run the count full 3-2.
Well, and he certainly earned the everyday right fielder title here in the BCL for the Cougars. He's been really flashing that glove, making great plays and great throws to go along with it.
Full count 3-2, and still nobody out. Coming home. Line drive to center. That's going to fall in a base hit. Rivera will pick it up. Coast throws on the stop sign. Max Murphy continues to swing it. The ball gets away. Murphy's going to push for second. He's going to get there standing up. So again, defense is a huge part of Baseball Champions League play. And a throwing error from Bismarck Rivera will push Max Murphy up to second. They lose the automatic double play on a ground ball. And Armand Upshaw with a chance to drive in a couple now.
Yeah, and the teams we have really seen thriving in this tournament have taken advantage of the mistakes of their opponents, and the Cougars are certainly the biggest beneficiaries of that. Several times scoring off of walks, hit by pitches, errors, and a big opportunity for Armand Upshaw early in this game.
Back-to-back hits for the Cougars to start off inning number 2. Upshaw takes outside. He had a big 3-run home run yesterday afternoon. They got the Cougars up by 7. Infield playing halfway. 1-0. Takes outside. Heads up base running as well by Murphy to realize that ball gets away from Trujillo, the cutoff man. And moving up at 90 feet is huge, especially in a game where you're just trying to send your way into Sunday. 2-0 taken for a strike. Just make your path even easier. And Kane County has been the threatening force so far through the round robin play. 2-1. Fouls off first base side. it has been the entire lineup card that has done the work. Everyone has cooperated in some way, shape, or form, whether it's been on the defensive side or doing this little things, moving men over, selfless at bats. 2-2. Taken inside for ball 3.
Good patient approach here by Armand Upshaw.
Base open at first. Jax Groshans awaits on deck if it gets to him. On 3-2. Jams him, right field. Rayo starts in, comes back, makes the catch. Raywald breaks it along with Murphy. The throw will go to third. It's cut off. Josh Raywald crosses home plate. Armand Upshaw with his 6th RBI of the tournament. And Kane County strikes first, 1-0.
And that's a productive at-bat. Not all outs are built the same. Just deep enough into right field, and not only scores the first run of the game now for the Cougars, also able to move Max Murphy over to third base and get him 90 feet away from extending this lead.
Another team swing from Kane County. This time it's Armand Upshaw doing enough to get it deep enough into right field, and not only that, allowing Murphy to end up at third base as well.
And give Upshaw credit. He struggled in his first game, but he has certainly come to his own the last couple days.
First pitch almost clips Groshans. He takes for ball 1. Groshans takes a strike on the inside corner at 90. "86 games for the Cleveland Railroaders in 2024, and we mentioned earlier in the tournament, Groshans was with the Los Angeles Angels organization to open up the 2025 season, would eventually make his way back to the American Association with Cleburne. 18 games with the Railroaders.
And it was a bit of a struggle in his first game in the BCL. He did come around and score off a walk in the first inning, but after going 0 for 3 after that, he did come through with a double. So he did close that game on a hot bat.
Murphy 90 feet away, 1-0 King County, the 1-2. A swing and a miss for strike 3. Groshans down on strikes, 2 away now, and Sam Dexter will step in as the 9-hitter. First strikeout for Mejia. That's an important strikeout if you are the Dantos starting pitcher, because now you got the 9-hitter, and after an inning where it started with the leadoff double and a base hit, eventually the error would push Murphy up to second. There's one batter away from getting out of this with just the minimum. First pitch popped up. Right field shallow. Rayo camped underneath it. He'll make the catch to end the inning. Kane County strikes first. Armand Upshaw with the RBI sacrifice fly. We go to the third with the Cougars leading 1-0. Top of inning number 3, Kane County leads 1-0. Jake Dykoff back to work, and he's got the top of the order. 1, 2, 3, Rivera, Layton, and Algaria. A couple of hits in that top of the first inning, and Dykoff was able to work around the early traffic, but that's kind of been the case so far for Kane County. Is while they have had dominant starting performances yesterday and the pitching staff as a whole, they've had to work around a lot of traffic, and they've been bend but don't break on the pitching side of things so far.
Yeah, and they've really had to work with that, like you're saying, especially those first couple games. They had to dig deep into the bullpen, use a lot of arms, but combined, despite some struggles and some bumps in the road, they've just been able to pull it out and really do it in dominant fashion.
Well, yesterday, Brandon Komar gave the start that Kane County needed to avoid that type of bullpen day and get the high leverage guys some rest. Q shot to first. Raywald swallows it up and will flip it to Dykoff for the smooth operation, 1 away.
Yeah, and this top of the order, specifically the first 4 hitters, is going to be the biggest test for Jake Dykoff in this game. They've already seen a little bit of success with back-to-back singles from Layton, the man coming in, and Alegria, but the last game, it was 10 RBIs between Layton, Alegria, and Trujillo.
Now, this is a heavy contact first type of team. They don't strike out a lot. They find their way around the base paths, and they're not the most fleet of foot. They don't run a ton like compared to, say, the Brothers, and then we've seen the Kane County do it when they need to, but in reality's sake, it's pretty much a simple equation for Dantos. Hit, and hit a little more. 1-0, and that will bend Layton out of the way. But it hasn't really been a whole lot of home runs, though. They've had their fair share of blast out, but otherwise, it's been just a lot of manufacturing. Doubles, singles, and then the occasional ball that runs out of the ballpark. 2-0. Just scrapes off the inside corner for ball 3.
And basically what you just described is Brandon Layton. I mean, we've seen him go deep, but he has really been able to just mix it up and get on base in a bunch of different ways, and kind of just embracing what this Nicaraguan team's been about.
3-0. Inside ball 4. And that's also something we have not seen a lot from Kane County over the last few games, is avoiding the free pass. Specifically yesterday, it took up until the bottom of the 7th inning just for a man to reach first base who didn't earn it. It was a hit by a pitch.
Yeah, they didn't have a single walk in that game. It was a couple of hit by pitches from Lorando.
First pitch to Algaria. Good bounce back from Dykoff, spins a strike. Layton has reached base twice so far today. Algaria with a base hit back in the first inning. He was left stranded. 0-1. Zips in a strike, and he's quickly ahead 0-2.
Well, it's a nice bounce back following the walk by Dykoff to get ahead early on Alegria, and he is such a strikeout expert now. He's got a lot of things he can go to in his arsenal.
The age of 26, Dykoff going into his age 27 season a little bit later on in May. 0-2. Takes down low. Layton was dancing off of first base. Stayed put, though.
Kind of just thought he was going to hop all the way to second.
Well, we've seen runners be a little crafty at first base, but again, in a stadium where hitting runs supreme, the high risk of low reward on stealing bases doesn't seem like it's much. Quick move back to first. Tag applied by Raywald, but back in diving safely is Layton. And Dykoff's got a pretty good move. For someone who was mostly a reliever over the last few seasons, he's got quick feet on the mound as a starter as well.
Yeah, he almost got him there. Definitely caught Layton off guard.
The 1-2. Up and away.
And Layton was not nearly as jumpy that time around.
The infield for Kane County shifted slightly to the pull side. Wide open right side of the infield with Allen pinching the middle and Raywald holding Leighton on. He's leaning towards second. He takes off the pitch. Swung on and fouled off. So Leighton finally broke, but the foul ball by Al Green. We try this again at 2-2. And Grosjes, we've seen him have a strong throwing arm behind home plate. And again, Dykoff is relatively quick to home as well, so it's going to be a tight throw. The whole system works out. We'll repeat again on 2-2. A move to first, tagged by Raywald, but it's not there. And it was close. Again, Leighton was leaning.
It's a really good pickoff move for a righty. And I mean, Raywald, I think, just kind of missed on the swipe because the throw actually did beat it there.
You know, it's just that little extra reach at the end from Raywald was just not enough. But again, Leighton is dancing with fire. Leighton holds the 2-2. Swing and a foul tip held on to by Jax Grosjes for strike 3. Strikeout number 3 for Dykoff. 2 away here in the top of inning number 3.
Gets him off balance on a pitch that just stays on that outside edge. I think Alegria may be thinking it would come back to the center. It never did, and a big out number 2.
So here's Emmanuel Trujillo. Flew out to right his last time, up 0-for-1. First pitch swinging through the left side, a base hit. Leighton moves up 90 feet to second. A 2-out single. Runners at first and second, and for the second time in the ball game, Dantos have multiple men on base. I'll bring up William Rayo with 2 away.
He struck out his first time, but this is a dangerous bat. One of the more consistent hitters in this Dantos lineup right in the middle of the order. He had 3 hits yesterday, including a home run in the 7th inning in his final at-bat.
Five runs batted in on the tournament so far from William Rayo. 6 for 17. 6 for 15, I beg your pardon. First pitch. He takes a strike. Again, Jake Dykoff in a little bit of trouble, but it's 2 outs with runners on first and second. Just like he had back in the top of the first inning, he was able to work around the 2 hits. The 0-1. Swinging a line drive, base hit back up the middle. Rounding third, heading home Leighton. He's going to score. The throw goes into Raywald. Gets on by Raywald. Up to second goes Rayo. Tied at 1 here at the top of inning number 3. Runners now at second and third with still 2 away.
Well, William Rayo once again coming up big in this tournament. Base hit that goes right back up the middle. Upshaw thinks he has a chance of getting Leighton at the plate. Maybe should have went to third instead to try to cut down these runners. But Rayo takes advantage and gets to second base. And a little bit of danger here with 2 outs.
And gets Kane County's bullpen moving around beyond the right field wall. So here's Omar Mendoza. The first pitch. It's taken up and away for ball 1. There will be no error given to Armand Upshaw because of that throw in. Allowing Rayo to get to second base. They're just saying that that throw essentially went all the way into home plate. 1-0. Takes up and inside. It's a little different after the half inning prior where we saw the throwing error by Rivera, which was clearly going into the cutoff man, which ended up getting by the cutoff man. Takes down and outside for ball 3. There is an open bag at first base. Ofelio Castro awaits on deck.
Yeah, and Omar Mendoza with some real power. He's already got a hit in this game. I don't imagine Dykhoff is going to try to put anything over the middle of the plate and try to attempt to come back in this at-bat.
He misses wide for ball 4. Bases loaded.
Ofelio Castro and his struggles so far in this tournament.
2 for 11. We'll see a mound visit. That'll bring the rest of the infield in for Kane County. And it's been a bit of a taxing inning so far for Jake Dykhoff, which started out strong. Got a ground out to Rivera, the walk then to Layton, bounced back with a strikeout on Algaria, but then the back-to-back consecutive hits, including the RBI single from William Rayo and the walk to Mendoza. So the visit breaks apart and everyone will go back to their respected positions. Bases packed, 2 outs, 1-1 game here in our early morning affair. Charlie Hasty starting to move around in the Kane County bullpen.
It's a big moment early in this game.
The first pitch to Castro. Takes a called strike. Brought back on the corner. The 7th batter of the inning for Dantos. The 0-1. It's fouled back to the netting. No balls and 2 strikes.
Great job by Dykhoff, who's had a little bit of struggle with control in this inning, a couple of walks to just get ahead of Castro early, not have to worry about just throwing one right down the middle for him to try to pipe.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases loaded, tied game at 1. His 0-2. Up and away, in and out of the glove of Groshans. Now this is certainly a turning point here in the early going. Dantos looking to strike, the Cougars looking to minimize.
It's going to be big momentum one way or another.
Might see a little bit of emotion from either side, whoever ends up on top of this battle. Dykhoff's 1-2. Bounces in the dirt. We're even at 2.
Ofelio Castro, I mean, he's not a guy that's going to go down easy. He's the most veteran player on this Nicaraguan team. Over the age of 40, has a ton of pro baseball experience.
And Dykhoff going into his age 27. His 2-2. Runs outside for ball 3, and now we'll have a payoff, and everyone gets a head start. An imperative 3 balls and 2 strikes. A wave of the cap, Charlie Hasty is ready to go from the bullpen. Dykhoff looking to hold the water here in the top half of inning number 3. We're tied at 1. The payoff. Swing and a foul, first base side. We'll try it again.
Next pitch will be 59 for Dykhoff.
He's had to work so far. First 3 innings. It's been a bit of a grind, but it's been that way for pretty much any pitcher you want to insert name here. Trying to work through the pressure of the full count, the bases loaded. 3-2 again. outside, ball 4. Dantos will take a 2-1 lead. The RBI walk by Filio Castro, his first run batted in on the tournament. And the bases still remain loaded with 2 outs.
He earned that one too. I mean, he was down 0-2 in this one. We know Dykhoff has the stuff to get that swing and a miss, but the experience from Castro, just being patient, fouling off the ones that went in the zone, and eventually it all paid off. And now Dantos takes the lead here in the 3rd.
Overcooked that fastball. Groshans goes out to reset his right-hander. Samus is on the top step of the dugout. He drops down a step. He's going to stick with Jake Dykhoff.
If you're George Samus, I think you got to show faith in Dykhoff. Let him know that even though he's had these 3 walks in the inning, that he is the guy that needs to be on the mound in this situation.
Now we'll face Rodolfo Bone. He lined out to 3rd his last time up. The first pitch. Swing and he fouls it back. It was Elvis Peralta who made a diving stop down the 3rd base line, and he kept a run from coming across to open up the 2nd inning. But as Dykhoff has done multiple batters so far in this inning, he has started out 0-1. It just has not been able to put the inning to bed. The 0-1. Fastball straightens up. Bone, and he dances out of the way. It's been a little bit shaky command from Jake Dykhoff so far here, especially in this 3rd inning. But it's been taxing. 61 pitches so far. This will be number 62. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Fires the breaking ball in the dirt. And now is ahead in the driver's seat. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Dykhoff gets back ahead. He lost Castro last time around.
One strike away from leaving the inning as is at 2-1. The 1-2. Fastball overcooks it upstairs.
It's just been a struggle for the challenge pitches when he gets up with 2 strikes in the count. Instead of just missing just off the place to get that swing and the miss, it's just been too far outside, too far low. In that case, too far high.
Pitch number 64 for Dykhoff. The 2-2. Swing and he pops it foul, headed back towards us.
And give credit to this Dantos team. I mean, they have played spoiler, refusing to go down on strikes in this inning.
It has been one battle after another so far for Jake Dykhoff here in this 3rd inning. Again, just a strike away from holding it at a 2-1 lead. The 2-2. Swing and a cue shot back to Dykhoff. A foot race to first. Flip it to Josh Raywald. And Jake Dykhoff holds things at 2-1. We keep moving along. To the bottom of the 3rd we go. All tied at 2 as we go to the top of the 4th. Another look at the standings here in BCL play. Kane County at 3-0. A win will send them already to Sunday, but even if they do have a loss, as long as it's not by a certain amount of runs, their Sunday trip will be booked. But this is where things get interesting. Dantos and Diablos currently at 2-1. Diablos have the tiebreaker in head-to-head over Dantos, so technically they're sitting in the 2 spot while Dantos is in the 3. You gotta look at Charlie Hasty up on the mound. But things are not always as they seem here in BCL play. Of course, the tiebreakers are in motion, especially if there is a tie and the head-to-head is the first one. But then again, it's not just a guarantee of who's going to be matched up on Sunday with, if it at the moment as it stands, Kane County. 0-1 is skied out to right center, has some carry. Armand Upshaw drifts into the right center gap and makes the catch for the first out.
Yeah, the things get really interesting if Dantos pulls off the win here and Diablos wins. You have 3 teams at 3-1. And only 2 teams can go to Sunday.
And that's when the math starts coming into play.
Right, because at that point it would be that head-to-head tiebreaker. You just get a merry-go-round between the 3 of them. They've all beat each other.
So the top of the order, Bismarck Rivera. First pitch is taken for a strike. So Charlie Hasty so far in BCL play, now 2 1/3 innings of work, just 1 hit allowed and 2 strikeouts. Slapped foul, the right side out of play, no balls and 2 strikes. Charlie Hasty, the longtime closer for the Sioux Falls Canaries. Been a staple in the back end of their bullpen. An all-time leader in saves and appearances, 55 saves in Sioux Falls, 184 appearances. The 0-2, taken down low. Not a save situation. We are still way away from that. But in a way, you can kind of look at this as saving a couple of zeros, getting a couple of innings of work in, and keeping Dantos quiet. A 1-2. Swung on and fouled off. And what is also so fun about having this type of team coming into Baseball Champions League is that you have a whole bullpen full of closers. Guys who are used to coming into the hardest situations and the tightest parts of the ball games, keeping their cool and keeping things locked up. The 1-2. Another foul ball.
Makes for an interesting dynamic in situations like this, where Charlie Hasty's used to coming in that 8th, 9th inning in Sioux Falls and shutting the door, but now just tasked with getting through and eating up a couple of innings to keep the score right where it is.
1-2. Swinging a ground ball back up the middle of the base hit. Bismarck Rivera checks in with his first hit of the afternoon. A 1-out single brings up Brandon Layton.
And now comes the real test for Charlie Hasty. This is where Dantos has been scoring and producing most of their runs. Starting with Brandon Layton, who's 1 for 1 today. He's reached both times. He's actually reached 7 in a row, going back to last game.
Jake Dykoff's game comes to an end after 3 innings. Gives up 5 hits, 2 runs. They were earned, 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. Big rip from Layton on the first pitch. He comes up empty.
Check that, it's 6 in a row, looking for 7 here.
Well, Charlie Hasty bounced around a little bit in 2025. Went down to the LMB circuit between Puebla and Chihuahua, then made his way back to the American Association with Sioux Falls. 27 2/3 innings of work, 13 saves, 11 strikeouts, 10 walks. 3.32 ERA. It's going to be a 2.5 ERA. 0-1 fouled back. 0-2 ahead quickly on Layton.
It's one of those guys that's kind of rare in this Cougars lineup and bullpen that has had some work since the end of the American Association season.
Born in Fort Dodge, Iowa, but lived in the suburbs of Omaha for most of his life. The 0-2. Downstairs. He recently celebrated his 29th birthday. I was back on March the 22nd. Just a couple of days before the tournament started here in BCL play. 1-2, bounced on the open right side and through the infield, a base hit. Pushing for third is Rivera. Murphy has no play. He'll go to second. First and third goes Bismarck Rivera, and Dantos once again have runners at the corners with one away.
How do you set this guy down? It seems like every single team the Dantos have played, nobody has had an answer for Brandon Layton. 7 in a row now that he has reached. He's put another runner in scoring position with Bismarck Rivera, and he is just the ultimate table setter to get the big bats in this Dantos order an opportunity to get something done with runners in scoring position.
Still tied at 2-2. One away here in the top half of inning number 4. The first pitch from Hasty. Swing and a miss. Algaria goes a whiffing. A base hit his first time up, and then he struck out for the second out in the third inning. The 0-1. Swing and a foul back. Hasty ahead at 0-2. And you like the way that both Dykhoff and Hasty have got ahead of guys. Just Dykhoff couldn't find the put-out pitch in that third inning. Back-to-back singles here to open up the fourth after the fly out to center. 0-2. Swing and a sky high to right. Murphy camps underneath it. Rivera, he'll tag. A long throw to the plate from Murphy. It's going to go through, but sliding in safely is Rivera. And once again, Dantos strikes, and they take a 3-2 lead after the Algaria sacrifice fly. It's his third RBI of BCL play.
Well, if anybody could make this play, it's Max Murphy. I mean, this one kind of shallowed in. It was still pretty deep, but Murphy's arm is so good that he actually does get it here where it would have been a bank playing play. It was just a little bit off target. And Benjamin Allegria comes in for his team. And once again, Dantos winning this teeter-totter battle in the top of the fourth.
He scored 2 runs in the top of the third and a run here in the top of the fourth. Kane County has scored a run in the second and a run in the third. First pitch swinging, clubbed. Left field, Thomas showing his numbers. This ball's gonna go. Emmanuel Trujillo, he shows up for his first blast of the tournament. 2 more runs on the board for Dantos. They lead now 5-2.
Big bat Trujillo comes through again, and doesn't matter where you're playing, Trevor. 461 feet, 107.5 off the bat. That ball is going to go just about anywhere.
Just did not move. That ball just stayed up at the top of the zone on a tee.
Smashed.
Base is clear now after the blast. I'll bring up William Rayo. Swings at the first pitch, fouls it off. But this is what we've seen from Dantos. They are able to take advantage of those base hits. And there's only a couple of instances where they haven't really cashed in, but when there's runners on base, they have struck for pretty much most of the tournament so far. And takes outside. Well, Dantos certainly happy after their off day yesterday. They come in feeling pretty fresh. They were able to reset their pitching side as well. 1-1. Another foul ball, and we try this again.
Well, and you can't panic yet. if you're on that Cougar side. You're only chasing 3 runs. It's so early in the game. We've seen too many crooked numbers. And that rings true on the Dantos side as well. You can't be feeling too confident and start making mental mistakes.
1-2. Swinging a line drive. It's going to drop in left field, a base hit. Thomas to cut it off. Pushing for second, Rayo. The throw is going to be off target, and diving in safely is Rayo for a double. It's second of the tournament, his second hit of the day. And Dantos is not done yet here in the 4th inning.
Well, we mentioned it, between Alegría, Trujillo, and Rayo, that is 7 RBIs and 6 hits. That was last game. This game already 5 hits, 4 RBIs. That middle part of this Dantos lineup is absolutely deadly.
Kane County pitchers just have not been able to find the recipe for this middle of the order. Specifically from Layton down to Rayo. That brings up Omar Mendoza, a base hit and a walk, 1 for 1 with 2 plate appearances. And William Rayo needs the training staff.
They're calling for water. So I'm just wondering if this is maybe something to do with the elevation, maybe the heat. Just a little dehydrated.
Cramping maybe. That has been a common theme so far through a lot of these teams. And when we've talked to the training staff, especially with Kane County, and the encouragement to hydrate, hydrate, and hydrate. I mean, it is not the hottest day for a game here. Like I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, it was only 55 degrees at first pitch. Temperatures climbed up to 63, but that turf is hot. They're sitting in the sunshine. And again, Rayo being a right fielder, he is on the turf for the entire game.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything as far as an injury that we see there. I think this is much more.
Could have gotten the wind knocked out of him as well, yeah.
And Rayo maybe just being a little overheated.
I mean, it is. We don't feel it up here in the booth. We've got the wind coming in from the ballpark swirling around. We also have the luxury of the air conditioning as well. But again, it's such a different atmosphere down on the field, going from the shade to the sunshine. Again, this roof that is over our heads does such a fantastic job of keeping the folks that are in attendance or the staff cool. But if you're down on the field, it is almost an extra 30 degrees warmer just because of the way the turf just absorbs all that heat. And even if you're standing on the dirt, you still feel it.
Yeah, and I mean, he just had to leg out a double too, so he's working hard out there, both on offense and on defense.
First pitch to Mendoza, swing and a miss, 0-1. The 0-1 in the dirt. Gets away from Groshans, but only as far as the first base side behind the dish. I mean, it's interesting because we go into the regular season and say it's somewhere like Sioux Falls, Sioux City, even Cleburne, Texas, and the temperature can rush all the way up to 100 degrees plus. Zach Fiend starting to loosen up in the bullpen. And then for Nicaragua, when they play in their season, now they do also play in the wintertime. They avoid really the summers during the wet season and the hot and humid season. But they're right down by the equator, so for them, they deal with extreme temperatures, extreme humidity. Just battling the elements. And 2-1 up and inside. But again, the turf plays an extra 20 to 30 degrees, and it just soaks in all that heat. And nowhere for that heat to go but straight up. And, well, the players are standing right there. So, again, outfielders like Dylan Thomas, Armand Upshaw, Max Murphy, they're sitting on the hottest spots of the field. This ball skied in a very shallow right. Josh Allen out, Max Murphy in. It'll be Max Murphy to make the catch. A 3-spot in the top of the 4th. Dantos leads 5-2. We go to the bottom half.
In the heart of Montana's untamed wilderness, a legend is brewing. Jeremiah Johnson Brewing, the official beer of the Big Sky Conference. Brewed with the rugged spirit of the West. Jeremiah Johnson is simply a world-class, straightforward, no-nonsense beer. Do well.
Zach V now takes over in relief for the Kane County Cougars, and the first pitch goes all the way to the backstop for ball one. That ends the day for Charlie Hasty. He goes an inning, giving up 4 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned, no walks nor strikeouts. (1-0) finds the outer half of the plate for a called strike to even things up at 1-1. Veen has just 1/3 of an inning pitched against the brothers. Gave up 2 runs on a hit, a walk, and a strikeout. (1-1) chopped over to short, giving ground. Dexter plays the friendly bounce. Has plenty of time to toss it across the infield for the first out of the inning.
Well, being kind of the de facto long reliever for the Cougars last season, it really helped them out when they get into tough spots early to just kind of steady the ship and really lead comebacks for the Cougars. He was a very consistent left-handed arm in that 2025 season.
A fastball, a cutter, a splitter, and a slider. And he's got that funky left-handed look to him. He's got the start on the third base side of the rubber. He's closed off as well. And it looks like he's stepping almost towards the dugout when he delivers and then comes all the way across his body. So he has a ton of deception. Makes any left-handed at bat pretty uncomfortable. Takes in the dirt for a ball. Be turning at the age of 25 a little bit later on in April. (2-0). Fouled back by Rodolfo Bone. 0 for 2, a line out and a ground out. A Southern California kid not too far away from the Honda Center, where the Anaheim Ducks play. Line drive to second, handled by Josh Allen for the second out. Two away now for Brian Ruiz.
Yeah, it's hard hit contact from Rodolfo Bone, but just right at Josh Allen. This has been a struggle so far for the 7, 8, and 9 hitters of this Dantos lineup. Currently a combined 0 for 7. Just the 1 walk by Ophelio Castro that did drive in a run.
(1-0) fouled off. If you are George Samus, you are looking for one of your guys coming into this game and to get a quick shutout inning. You're out. Your defense was out on the field a long time in both the 3rd and 4th innings. Just couldn't generate any sort of offense in the 3rd or 4th, despite the home run from Elvis Peralta, chasing down only 3 runs. But again, with Dantos in their offense, something's got to break for Kane County if they want to continue to find their success here this afternoon. Especially after the tough start from Dykoff, and then Charlie Hasty just couldn't pump the brakes either in that 4th inning. A 3-1. Foul back now, full 3-2. And how big would it be for a 1-2-3 top of the 5th here?
Massive. I mean, not just for momentum for your hitters, but so you don't have to see the top part of this order again for Dantos. I mean, those first 6 hitters have really been producing through 4 innings.
Beans 3-2. Way out for ball 4. So you will see the top of the order, Bismarck Rivera, will step up to the plate with 2 outs and a man aboard.
And now Bean's got to be careful. Bismarck Rivera was the one that got the party started in that 4th inning. Eventually ended with 3 runs coming in for the Dantos and this lead.
1 for 3 so far on the early morning for Rivera. First pitch runs outside, and now Sangroshin's out to go chat things over with Veen.
It seems like he kind of keeps having that consistent miss on the outside edge. An edge is kind of being friendly.
The bullpen for Kane County starts to move around again. No one up and throwing yet, but plyo balls being thrown against the wall. Guys banding up, moving around and stretching.
There's probably at least 3 or 4 guys that are stretching in some capacity.
1-0 line drive, right center field, down a base hit. Murphy to cut it off. First to third will go Ruiz. A multi-hit day for Bismarck Rivera. And the always dangerous Brandon Layton will step in after a 2-for-2 day.
And that's exactly what we were talking about, Trevor. Why getting Bryant Ruiz at the bottom was so important, because it has just been contagious at the top. Bismarck Rivera now with back-to-back hits. Brandon Layton has reached base 7 times in a row, dating back to his last game. And this is now a very dangerous situation, even with 2 outs.
First and third, 5-2 in favor of Dantos. First pitch misses up and away. And how we just went from talking about how much a 1-2-3 inning would help to now what happens if you can get out of this inning unscathed.
Bean's just been really struggling with that first pitch. I mean, it's pretty much been a free pass every single time to get to a 1-0 count for these hitters.
1-0. Finds the inside target for a strike. The 18th pitch of the inning for Zach Veen. 1-1. Swinging a line drive. Right field, Max Murphy will play it chest high. The inning comes to a close. A couple of runners left stranded. 5-3 Dantos. We go to the halfway point. So this is your schedule. Today you're watching game number 9 of the 2026 Baseball Champions League. Dantos leading Kane County 5-2. But then the nightcap, game number 10, the last game of pool play. The Crocodiles taking on the Diablos, 6 o'clock Eastern time. And whatever happens in this game, there could be a possibility that that final game of pool play could really shape up how Sunday looks. First pitch to Todd Lott. He takes ball 1. We'll have to do a ton of math, and that all depends, though. If Dantos beats Kane County, that's when things get interesting. But if Kane County comes back, the Cougars will solidify themselves as the home field advantage on Sunday. And then it's just a determination on who the Kane County Cougars would play. But remember, that also means they need to come back chasing 3 runs. Fouled off 2-1. Todd Lott facing Elias Gutierrez. And everything will work itself out. Yeah.
If the score holds, it's going to come down to Diablos needing a win against the Crocodiles to force that 3-way tie at 3-1. And as we talked about, that's a carousel because the first tiebreaker is head-to-head, and all these teams have beat each other. Then we'll have to look at the TBQ. And for those that don't know what TBQ is, as Todd Lott works a rock, it basically comes down to how many runs a team scored and the amount of innings that they played. So in this case, it'll be 36 total innings and the amount of runs they scored. And you subtract that by the amount of runs they've given up in 36 innings. You divide those two numbers, subtract the totals, and it gives you a number, and whoever has the highest, that's who's going to move on and go to this championship game.
And we could make predictions, but real math comes in when everything is all said and done. So we can have an idea of what it will all look like when we go into our final game of pool play tonight between the Crocodiles and the Diablos. But we will not know until all 9 innings are played, if not more. And then, obviously, the runs are a whole other factor as well. So here's Josh Raidwell with a man on. And a called strike to even things up at 1-1. And that's what makes this type of tournament so interesting and so fun is that, I mean, we saw it a little bit in the World Baseball Classic. The Team United States needed a certain amount of runs scored by either Mexico or Italy in that final game of pool play to determine on who would advance into the knockout stages. It's what makes these types of tournaments so unique and so fun, because you have certain teams who are needing to absolutely run up the scoreboard to give themselves the best chance. Raywell takes up and inside for ball 2.
Well, and it's so big, too, if that ends up being the case, if this score holds. The Cougars getting that 9-0 win over the Crocodiles.
And that shutout really has played into the factor so much. 2-2, check swing. Does he go? Yes, he does, says Janet Moreno, the third base umpire. And Josh Raywald still staying in a home plate with a shake of his head. A strikeout with 1 away here in the 6th, and Josh could possibly have a case. It is close.
It was close.
First strikeout for Gutierrez, and now in steps Max Murphy. He lays a breaking ball for a strike. Base and a strikeout, a 1-for-2 day so far for Murphy. And the leaping catch to end the top of the 6th inning. 0-1 breaking ball, sliced foul down the right field line. Now 0-2.
With the walk for Lott, it has still been, check that, every single inning but one. The Cougars have had a leadoff man aboard in some capacity.
They've had traffic all day. 0-2, spoiled foul.
5th inning ground out by Jack Scroshin, the only exception.
But then back-to-back hits from or not back-to-back hits, but 2 hits in the inning, Sam Dexter and Josh Allen. Just couldn't move them around past first and second. 0-2, swung on and missed for strike 3. Max Murphy down on strikes for the second time, 2 away now. And that brings us Armand Upshaw.
Yeah, and you mentioned those 2 hits. I mean, right after that hit by Josh Allen, that is when Renaud Garth decided to go to the bullpen with Elias Gutierrez. He ends up getting Dylan Thomas. And despite the leadoff walk here in the 6th, now back-to-back strikeouts. It's looking like a great bullpen move by Garth.
First pitch, a called strike on Upshaw. Sacrifice fly back in the 2nd. Bounce into a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play in the 4th. 0-1, bounce softly in the infield. Charging in is the shortstop, and there'll be no play. Brandon Layton ended up with the baseball. An infield single by Armand Upshaw will bring the tying run to the plate. Jax Groshans will step in. And that's now back-to-back innings. Kane County will have runners at first and second with 2 outs.
Well, we talked about that speed by Armand Upshaw, and this being a slow roller, it is extremely tough to have any sort of play. Layton decides he doesn't want to try to risk a quick throw over there that rolls to the backstop and potentially a run coming in to score. Eats the ball and instead will turn back to his pitcher to try to get this last out.
So Jax Groshans, he's got the raw power at the plate. First pitch. Takes, called first strike, a breaking ball right on the inside corner.
He's batting a $167, still waiting for his BCL moment. Maybe this is it.
He represents the tying run with Kane County trailing by 3. He steps out to call time. Any sort of run will do wonders for this Cougars ball club. Jumps him off the inside for ball 1 to even things up. Joined the American Association in 2023 as a member of the Lake Country Dockhounds. You'll see his tenure in the American Association go to his 3rd team with the Chicago Dogs in 2026. Line drive through the left side and into the alleyway. That's going to plate Todd Lott. Rounding is Armand Upshaw. He's getting the wave around. He's going to score. Jax Groshans, a 2-run double. And Kane County is back within a run, 5-4. Moment meant Jax Groshans.
Well, you said it. We've been waiting for the pop from Jax Groshans and finally able to barrel one up. Put it right over the head of the shortstop. This one rolls all the way to the wall. An easy 2-run scored. And just like that, the Cougars are starting to strike.
Kane County finally gets that big hit with runners on base, and it comes down to 2 outs in the inning. And it's Groshans who barrels up a BB through the middle of the diamond. And with no stopping that ball, it goes all the way to the left center field wall. With the right-hander up and going in the bullpen, Ronaldo Garth will once again point beyond the left field wall. But Jax Groshans, a 2-run double, and we're back within a run here from Mexico City. Well, there's your line score so far as we're now in the back third. Top of the seventh, 5-4 Dantos over Kane County. And Logan Nissen will now take over in relief. Just for the moment, though, Zach Veen, 2 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. And so far for Nissen on his BCL run, 2 innings of work, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 2 walks, a strikeout. Pitched against the brothers and against Diablos Rojos del Mexico. And it starts with the back third of this lineup, Ofelio Castro, who takes a first pitch ball upstairs.
He allowed home runs in both of those games. That's been the struggle so far from Logan Nissen. Other than that, he's been able to pitch around pretty well.
The 1-0. Just misses off the outside, nibbling the upper part of the plate and then the outside part. He's pitched with Kane County for the last 4 seasons, joining the Cougars in 2022. 2-0, that time hits the corner on the inside for a strike. A huge part of the 2025 postseason run, pitched in 8 games, 9 1/3 of work, 6 strikeouts, just 1 walk, and did not allow an earned run. 2-1. Straightens him up on the inner part of the plate.
His first couple season was the closer, at least an act for the Cougars. Kind of more turned into the setup man for Jake Gozo last season. It's a very effective 1-2 punch.
3-1. Up and away, ball 4. A leadoff walk to Ofelio Castro, his second time, taking the trot to first. They'll bring up Rodolfo Bone.
It's the 5th walk of the game now we've seen from Cougars pitching. Coming off the heels of that game against the Crocodiles where they didn't allow a single walk.
Well, it's a little bit of a different hitting core between Dantos and the Crocodiles. For Dantos, they don't chase a whole lot. And the Crocodiles, it just seemed like every time there was a chase on almost every single slider outside.
I think we're getting a pinch runner here.
Juan Urbina will now take over in running at first base. So that will end the day for Omar and for Ofelio Castro. So Urbina now takes over at first. First pitch to Bone. Just a tad bit low for ball 1.
Tough time locating so far for Logan Nissen as you get a look at Juan Urbina. Shows how much this run means for the Dantos. Try to get it back to 2.
Urbina starts and stops up at first. He holds up. Ball 2. Jack Scrotians will go chat things over with Nissen on the mound. It's back-to-back hitters where Nissen just falls behind early on. And this is what we saw from Dantos when playing Diablos Rojos, is that when they were walked, they took care of their free passes and they made Diablos pay. Earlier today, one walk eventually came in to score. That was back in the 3rd inning. Brandon Layton crossed home plate after an RBI single by William Rayo. The bullpen for Kane County starts to stir again. 2-0. Right down Broadway, first strike. Two one is skied to left. Thomas giving chase as along with Upshaw near the wall makes the catch. Tagging for second and getting there will be Urbina. So a long out number 1, but moving up because of the deep fly. The speedster will get into scoring position.
Yeah, Rodolfo Bone just missed. putting 2 runs on the board for this Dantos team. I think he thought he had enough, and it took Upshaw all the way to the wall to make this catch. So deep, in fact, that Juan Urbina was able to tag up from first and get to second.
About a step and a half from crashing into that video board wall out in left center field. So here's Brian Ruiz, the 9-hitter. First pitch swinging. He bends a slider outside. So when is Logan Nissen at his best?
Definitely in situations in close ball games like this. Generally speaking, he's the guy you lean on late in a game to want to keep the score where it is, whether they're down by a run or up by a run. And he has found a ton of success doing that. It was 14 straight appearances to close the 2025 season without giving up a run.
Well, the leadoff walk now aboard at second base. A tight 5-4 lead for Dantos. Kane County trying to keep this right where it's at to send it to the bottom of the 7th. 1-1. Swing and a pop-up. Very shallow left central. Now drifting back a bit. Upshaw makes the catch. Urbina tries for third. The long throw in on a hop. Tag applied. And Elvis Peralta drops the tag down. We'll hold things up for just a moment. But at the time as we're standing, an outfield assist from Armand Upshaw.
What a bullet from Armand Upshaw, one way or another. This is bang, bang at third on the slide. We'll take a couple more angles at it, but...
Well, the out was called by... Looked like Edwin Hernandez was charging in to make the out call. And we will, in fact, maybe see a challenge here. George Samus is going to and talk things over with the umpires. And yes, we will see a challenge. So headsets coming on.
Juan Urbina already got the best of Upshaw once to get to second on that deep fly ball by Bone. Tried to test that arm again here at third, and this is just a dot put on by Armand Upshaw. Question is, did Peralta get the glove down in time before that hand slipped in by Urbina?
That is a tight angle, and this might be our best look.
They've been giving us great angles all tournament long here. Oh, I think he got his helmet.
It looks like the back of his shoulder is where the tag goes. So we look at his right hand, Urbina sliding in. Slowing it down frame by frame.
I think he swipes the top of his helmet.
It's hard to tell on that
And
angle.
A little before.
And here we go. The call stands. Armand Upshaw with a BB from left center field. A big double play ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Stretch time. Today's game is brought to you by Jeremiah Johnson Brewing Company, built for the ballpark. Cold, crisp, and ready for game time, from blonde ale to Citra IPA to Mountain Man Scotch Ale. Jeremiah Johnson Brewing Company. Drink like you mean it. Back inside of Estadio, Alfredo Harp Helu, Logan Nesson back out to work after a quick top of the 7th inning. It's in the top half of inning number 8. The first pitch taken for a called strike to Bismarck Rivera. And here we go again. This is the part of the lineup card that the Cougars just have not been able to tame yet so far this morning and into the afternoon. 0-1 foul back, 0-2. Good start from Nissen to Rivera, who's had a multi-hit day.
Yeah, this should be fun. I mean, this is definitely where Dantos needs to do their damage. But on the flip end, this is the strength of the Cougars. Having a lead in the late innings and relying on that strong bullpen.
0-2, foul 2, all right. A swing and a miss for strike 3. Logan Nissen picks up a K to start off the 8th. One gone for Brandon Layton.
Strong start for Nissen. I mean, he walked the first guy he faced in Ofelio Castro. Was able to force a couple flyouts, and that big outfield play by Armand Upshaw and the tag by Peralta has got him feeling good. The first strikeout here in the 8th.
Jordan Martinson up and throwing in Kane County's bullpen. First pitch to Layton. Big rip, looking to tie it, came up empty. Oh, 1. Fouled back, nothing in 2, and this is where we're seeing Nissen at his best. Compared to the 7th inning where he was fighting from behind, he has gotten ahead of the first 2 batters. And does pitching with a lead give you that extra confidence?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the first time we've seen a Cougar player pitch with the lead since the top of the 3rd inning. And he is just so used to these kind of moments all year last year.
0-2 misses northbound.
And several years in his career, especially with Kane County.
Part of a couple of big postseason runs where it was spearheaded by the back end of the bullpen. This is 1-2. Another foul ball. We'll do it again. And taking a look at Martinson and Kane County's bullpen. 1-2. Another foul ball. Layton is pesky up there.
He's a tough out to get all the time, all tournament long. He has just been seeing the box so well. Baseball coming in slow motion for the most part.
He almost had it.
So impressive what Veen was able to do in that 5th, 6th inning.
He almost had extra base hits back in the 5th inning. Max Murphy making a leaping grab to keep it in the webbing. 1-2. Busted bat, softly hit over to first. Raywall knocks it down, kicks away. No chance, even with Nissen covering the bag at first. The 3rd hit of the day for Brandon Layton, and the tying run is on.
This is an interesting play. Obviously, you have the broken bat. That plays a factor, but it's such a slow roller, and this really could have went either way on who's to field this ball. Josh Allen could have potentially had a run up on it, and that would have let Raywald stay at first base. And I think there was confusion, too, because Nissen wasn't on his way over to first base anyway.
And he was dodging the helicoptering barrel that was coming towards the pitcher's mound.
That'll do it sometimes to distract you.
Sometimes it is a little distracting. So here's Benjamin Alguria. He takes a strike.
Well, it's the 8th inning, and this is the meat of the order for this Dantos team. It feels like this is right around that do-or-die territory.
Base and a sacrifice fly for Alegria so far today. Move over to first. Layton in safe. Now double barrel action going in Kane County's pen. We see a right-hander start to move around. A 1. Fouled off first base side, out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. You 2. Ground ball up the middle. Dive in past Sam Dexter into center. And holding up at second, Brandon Layton. A seeing eye single puts runners at first and second. The tying and go-ahead runner on base brings up Emmanuel Trujillo.
Dangerous bat coming to the plate. And again, we have just been seeing that production from this 2-3-4 order for the Dantos. And they're starting to feel some momentum. It's going to draw a mound visit from pitching coach David Holmberg to discuss this with Logan Nissen.
It was a ground ball that was almost snagged by Sam Dexter. Just out of the reach of his laces. And so what do you think this conversation is about?
I think you have to be looking at Emmanuel Trujillo, a guy that's gotten 3 straight hits, and just how you're going to have to go around this bat. Obviously, you got to look for a ground ball, so you got to expect you're going to see a lot of pitches low in the zone. But I think it's just David Holmberg trying to get everybody on the same page and not to panic in this situation.
A fly out to right back in the first inning. A base hit, a 2-run home run, and another single has been the day for Trujillo. First and second, 5-6 in favor of Kane County. First pitch bounces in for ball 1.
This just really feels like the game for the Dantos. I mean, this is where all the production has come, all 5 of the RBIs, several of their hits right in this part of the order. Feels like if Nissen can dig deep and find a way to close it out, it's going to be tough for the Dantos to do anything in the 9th.
The 1-0. Low and outside for ball 2. Swing and a miss on 2-0. Beats the fastball outside. Quality strike.
Trujillo gave him a gift there. That was off the plate. Would have been 3-0. See if Nissen can take advantage of that.
A 2-1. Line drive, slicing foul down the right field side. 2-2. Jack Scrotians will go back out and go game plan one last time. With the left-handed bat of William Rayo on deck. We'll see if this is Nissen's last batter, or if he can get a ground ball that can turn 2 and end the inning here. First and second, 1 out. Kane County with a slim lead. 2-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. A pump of the fist from Jack Scrotians as well. And a quick jog from the dugout. George Sam is heading out to the mound. That bullpen gate swings open. Logan Nissen back against the wall. He's able to get the strikeout on Trujillo. Here comes Rayo, and here comes the left-hander Martinson. We step aside for the pitching change. Action here from Estadio Alfredo Harp Helu. Game number 10, the final game of pool play, coming up at 6 o'clock Eastern time between the Crocodiles of Cuba and the Diablos Rojos del Mexico here on AA Baseball TV. And then it's Championship Sunday. Whoever plays, well, Kane County could solidify themselves as one of those two teams. They have some business to do. First pitch is taken for a strike. That game will start at 6 o'clock Eastern. 4 o'clock Eastern, I beg your pardon. 3 o'clock Central. 0-1 fouled off. 0-2, Brady Puckett now taking over in relief. A tall right-hander from the Milwaukee Milkmen. Derek Loizica pinch running at first base after the at-bat from Leonardo Ortiz. The tying run at the dish in Rivera. The 0-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Brady Puckett gets the second out of the inning. 2 gone. And now it steps up the always dangerous Brandon Layton.
Way to step right up and just sit down. Bismarck Rivera picking up right where he left off. Brady Puckett, he pitched 2 innings for the Cougars, 2 strikeouts, no earned runs. But he gets one of the hottest bats in this tournament.
First pitch swinging, foul back. 2 strikes away from a date on Sunday for the Baseball Champions League final. First and second, 2 out. 0-1. Wide of the bag, foul. And now the Cougars are 1 strike away from finishing off pool play at a perfect 4-0. And slating as the number 1 seed, the home team, on Sunday. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Cougars lead 9-6. The 0-2. Swing and a pop-up. Behind home plate, Groshans off of the mask. Has room, but it's foul.
Got us with the fake out there.
Deked me. I mean, it's not really fair. The ball goes over the shade, and then you just got to wait for the player to tell you where it's at. That was mean, Jax Groshans, but we get back to business. Puckett's 0-2. Swinging a line drive right center. It gets down, and it goes to the wall. 1 run's coming around to score and bone. Here comes Loizica getting the stop sign. The tying run is in scoring position. An RBI double from Dantos' biggest star. And it sets up for Benjamin Alegria.
So much production from this upper middle part of the order, starting with Brandon Layton. 4th hit in this game, his first RBI, but he has just been an absolute unit for this Dantos team, and now at runners at 2nd and 3rd. The tying run at 2nd. This has gotten a lot more interesting.
Puckett had him on 0-2, and he was able to fight off a pitch on the outside corner and shoot the right center alleyway. 7 runs now for Dantos, 9 for Kane County. The first pitch. Way outside, Groshans goes to a dive. 1-0.
He has been a wall behind the plate.
He has been active. The 1-0. Swing and a fly ball. Deep center, but it's going to stay in the park. Armand Upshaw puts the squeeze on it, and the Kane County Cougars will play for Championship Sunday. They go a perfect 4-0 in pool play And their date with a Baseball Champions League final is slated tomorrow afternoon.
Well, this was the toughest game they've had to play in pool play. Dantos being at him at all over the place all game long, especially in kind of the middle innings where they had that lead, but they were able to start to come back, and in a big way, especially in those 6th, 7th, and 8th innings for the Cougars. Some big bats and big situations, and they finished pool play a perfect 4-0.
Kane County Cougars, back-to-back American Association champions last season, were a game shy of the finals, will now play for a Baseball Champions League trophy tomorrow afternoon, and there is a happy man about that, George Samus.
Well, and George Samus is very proud of this team, as he told us before the tournament even started that he felt like this squad had a real shot to do it, and through 3 games they dominated, and they ended up over Dantos on this one as well.
Well, there's your standings. Kane County at 4-0, the only team with a perfect pool play record, have already slated themselves as the home team for tomorrow afternoon's championship game. The Diablos Rojos del Mexico, they still need to play tonight, but at 2-1, they would be tied with Dantos if they take a loss to the Crocodiles. But the way things are looking, it appears that it could be Kane County and Diablos Rojos in a repeat matchup, but this time it would be Kane County as the home team.
Yeah, Diablos knows what they need to do tonight. They just need to get that win over the Crocodiles and solidify that spot. And what a big rematch that would be here at Estadio Alfredo Harp Helu if we can see the Diablos Rojos versus the Kane County Cougars.
Well, the way things are going, it looks like that will be the case. But how about Kane County? Oh, Jabari Henry is getting a chunk of water sprayed on him.
He earned it.
We'll tell you why. Here's the highlights. A sacrifice fly hit by Armand Upshaw gets the scoring started for the Cougars. But then here comes Dantos. A RBI single would tie the game up in the top of the 3rd. And then we keep moving along. Elvis Peralta, he goes oppo for a solo shot, his first of the tournament, to tie things up at 2-2. We play on after Peralta's blast. And we keep moving to the 4th. Another sacrifice fly. This one coming in off the bat of Benjamin Alegria, scoring Bismarck Rivera. And then it's a big blast, a 2-run home run hit by Emmanuel Trujillo. And it was looking like Dantos was going to keep moving along with their cushion, but then a smash double off the bat of Jax Groshans gets the lead down to just a lone run. Armand Upshaw scoring all the way from first after an infield single. And then it is another fly ball. This time, it's Armand Upshaw's glove that does some damage. Tagging for 3rd and being thrown out. A perfect tag as well by Elvis Peralta. And then it's Josh Allen going to right center, plating Elvis Peralta to tie the game. And then in the top of the 8th inning, Dylan Thomas, his throw is late, and it comes to a 6-6 game. And then it's King Jabari, a 3-run home run that gives Kane County a 9-6 lead. And Kane County would surrender 1 run in the 9th inning. It's a double off the bat of Brandon Layton, but the effort of a comeback would fall short, and Kane County plays for Sunday. That is your highlights in Baseball Champions League. The second to last game of our pool play action, the Cougars win 9-7. And so for Colin Russell, executive producer Chad Ekren, and the entire Diablos production crew, I'm Trevor Curl. This has been a production of the Baseball Champions League on AA Baseball TV. The final score, Dantos 7, Cougars